Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Roadmap, Benzinga's new NFT show. On the last few episodes, we've had some great interviews, some great teams. We've had the Vogu Collective, Robotos, the Doge Pound, Oniforce, Crypto Dads, Blue, and Dizzy Dragons last week. We also did our first NFT giveaway. Stay tuned for more giveaways. Make sure you subscribe to the Benzinga YouTube channel. Smash that like. We've got a great show today. We've got some headlines to get into, and we've got another great interview today. SupDucks. Stay tuned, guys. This is The Roadmap. All right, guys. Yeah, you heard me say it. Benzinga's new NFT show. We've been doing this for a couple months now. We've already had some amazing teams on, some great interviews, and we've got another great one today. I already see all the ducks in the chat, excited, ready to go. Before we get into today's interview, let me bring on my co-host, Maz. Maz, what's going on, buddy?
Sup, Chris? How we doing, man?
Sup, Maz? I mean, yeah, we got a great interview, right? And we've already had some great teams on. And I mean, our lineup just keeps growing. We've got a great October lined up with some amazing guests. And that's part of the NFT community, right? It's bringing on these artists, these creators of NFT projects to really talk about, what led them into the NFT space? How did they design the NFTs? What are their favorite traits? What are their favorite NFTs? And also talking about what the show title, The Roadmap, what's next, what's to come, what should we expect? So we got a great one today.
Exactly. Fun fact, man, when I first got into NFTs, SupDucks and Cool Cats were the first two projects that caught my eye. And it's great to see them both come such a long way from, what was it, maybe 2-3 months ago. So I'm excited for this interview. And yeah, let's do it.
All right, guys. Yeah, you heard Mass say, I mean, this one's been around for a little while, but they have a loyal and great community, as we're seeing already in the chat. So it is my privilege to bring on Franky Nines, the artist and creator of SupDucks. Franky, what's going on? What's up?
Sup, Franky?
Yo. Sup.
Oh, man, guys. It's going great. We're seeing your loyal community here, showing up for this interview. I know, they've probably watched interviews, heard from you in the past, but we're excited to hear more information on SupDucks, hear about the future, and already hear on, how you've delivered. And, this is a great NFT project. We've got a floor price of 2.385 on the Ducks, and you also, recently launched another NFT off of that. So let's start out here. Before we get into SupDucks, I'm wondering if you can tell us about your start in the NFT space. I saw in your bio that you were a partner with Dapper Labs in the early days. Can you talk a little bit about Dapper and your, NFT start here?
Well, let's see. I was in the industry very early. I wasn't a partner. I worked for Dapper. I got into blockchain in around 2017. So I was working in like identity and digital stuff. And then when I moved to London, like I started working. I was working on a wallet, and then I saw CryptoKitties, and I applied to work for Dapper, and I got in and spent 2 years working with them. But at the same time, like also popping up on like Known Origin and started minting NFTs pretty early. So
awesome. Yeah, it sounds like you were pretty early to the space. That's pretty exciting here. We hear a lot of people talk about, what was your first NFT that you got in. Not many people, talk about CryptoKitties. Years ago, a lot of people, talk about Top Shot and others from this year. So you are ahead of the game when it comes to that. Let's dive into SupDucks. So, this project launched earlier this year. Tell us about, why SupDucks? How was this created? And, why is it so exciting?
All right, so SupDucks. Well, SupDuck was like it was a character that I had in my head like a long time ago, and I would just like doodle on paper. It was like sup, here's a duck. Duck says sup, and then yeah, so like before like mainstream mass adoption took over like in the NFT space, there was very little like apps that actually produce stuff. So Additional was an app that had a way for you to make NFTs, and I was just like uploading little comics and built like a little tiny community, I guess you would say. And yeah, someone basically my one of the guys on my team, the best dude, he hit me up. He was like, yo, you should bring SupDucks into the world. So I was like, all right, let's do it. We jumped on it. We jammed it. Bang. Happened.
Awesome. Love it. Great intro there to SupDucks. So, as I said, we recently then saw, off of SupDucks, we saw the launch of King Frogs. Can you talk a little bit about, why frogs and, kind of the launch of King Frogs that recently happened for SupDuck holders?
Well, so King Frog is like an interesting thing. So like in my world, your duck has a frog, right? It's like your little homeboy. It's like your little best friend. So we dropped the King Frogs on the 30th. We did a claim and a mint, two-pack thing. Yeah. King Frog.
Awesome. Have you been, surprised at, the reception to King Frogs? Is it going as planned?
It's pretty good. I think so. Like, what's interesting about the King Frog is like, I think like when I drew them out, right? Because so one of the things that we do in SupDucks is we have our duck and we have our bungalow, right? And so you have your frog tank there where you can have, your buddy. And so I think like right now I'm like in this mode where we're going to start moving into like science experiments, right? Like, what does that mean? Right? Like, can I blow that out? And then, yeah, it's Frogalicious baby. So
love that, man. Franky, so let's talk a little bit about the SupDuck community, because I think that's a big part of the project. The Discord has around 16K members, the Twitter around 35K. Tell us a little bit more about the community behind SupDucks, what you guys are doing to build the community, to keep the community engaged, on a daily basis.
Well, the community is actually amazing. This is probably like the first time I've been on something where like I actually feel like people are like, yo, what's up? The Discord bot system is pretty legit. Like the madness there, the science you can add into it, the tipping and all of those things. But I have a whole squad that's basically just like, holding it down. I mean, those are my boys. So like,
Love that. Do you spend a lot of time in the Discord yourself?
Huh?
Do you spend a lot of time in the Discord yourself?
Every day. Actually, nice. Well, so I try to pop in every once in a while. I'll come in and rap and just be like, yo, sup. Throw like leak art, like drop some things,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we stay pretty heavy in the Discord.
Love that,
good.
Man.
It's a good Discord.
Yeah, it's a very active Discord, which is great to see. Let's talk a little bit about any marketing channels. We talked before the show came on about, Big Clout, which is a decentralized social media. Are you looking for new methods to grow, the marketing towards SupDucks or towards NFTs in general right now?
To grow the marketing for SupDucks?
Yeah, or just like NFTs in general or your brand or anything like that.
Interesting. I think, so what I want to start doing is like looking at more of like traditional like merchandising style, right? Like I want to start making toys and games and like a cartoon series. Like, you know, I want to kind of push that way.
Got it.
Yeah, it's kind of like how I'm gonna roll it.
Love that, man. So something that me and Chris like to ask every guest that we have on is, so what are some of your favorite traits specifically for the SupDucks collection and the King Frogs collection? Can you tell us a little bit more about like what certain models do you like the most?
Ooh. Ooh.
Let's
so
break
many
it down
good
here.
ones. I see them scrolling there. The doodle ones are dope. That reminds me of like when I was, you know, just scratching on paper.
Yeah, it's dope.
The Metafrog is pretty hilarious. I don't know. I mean, I generally love everything. I love them all. They're
what's like the
crazy.
one that pops in your head? Like, what's the first one that pops in your head that you can think of? Like,
probably like my pizza brace face duck is pretty hard.
Pizza brace face.
Yeah. The pants heads are super dope too. Yeah.
Let's see. Pizza brace face. Let's see if we can find it here. Is it on? Do you know how we can search for it? Do you know how we can search for it?
Go to the skin. You get yourself some pizza.
Oh, there it is.
So I got so like what's really interesting about like this project too with me is like when I built it, like when the whole team built it, I went and actually like bought, like, you know, I always try to like run my own code, right? Like run my own process. And so like I went and bought a bunch of ducks when it first opened mint, and I got one of those rare, like I got the brace face pizza duck, and I was like, whoa, that's so cool. You know, I was like, oh, snaps, like I got that chance and I got it.
That's awesome. Yeah, man, these pop out. I really like the art on these. It's really cool. Tell us a little bit more about merchandise, man. Can you break it down? So do you have any like ETA for that, or are you still in the process, or can we expect any? So
something that's interesting is like we opened up merchandising like pretty early. We had I got my Sup hat on. We had like a standard drop ship system going. I think what we're doing now, and this is going to be pretty dope, is we're going to be dropping a collab. I actually didn't even text the guy if I could announce it yet. I'm gonna text him right now.
All right.
But we're gonna be dropping a collab. It's actually kind of fire. It's actually really fire for a brand to do something with a streetwear brand. Like, you know, you saw Apes was doing with the hundreds. You know? Yeah.
So like, this brand is not an NFT world at all right now?
Let's see. Pink Dolphin.
Oh, dude, dope. I love that. Dude, I'm based in LA, so I see these guys around all the time. That's pretty cool to hear.
Yeah.
And this has not been announced previously. Is that correct, Franky?
I'm like, oh shit, I spilled the beans.
Hey, we love getting exclusives here on the roadmap. So, but yeah, we don't want to get you in trouble at all. But yeah, we love it.
Dude, that's awesome. Dude, that's really cool because I love their colors, because their colors actually are very vibrant, so they match very similar to the SupDuck NFTs. So I'm excited for that.
Hell yeah,
that's great. So as far as, you know, let's just kind of rewind a little bit. You were talking about ingredients, right? Can you tell us a little bit more about that and what that means for SupDuck holders?
So what we did when we dropped 10,000 frog or 10,000 ducks, right? And I didn't want to do like a breeding mechanic or anything with the ducks. I was like, yo, there's only gonna be 10,000 ducks. And I was like, yo, 10,000 ducks, Duck needs his homie King Frog, so we need 10,000 King Frogs. And then we opened up a mint and we were like, all right, let's add another 10,000 King Frogs. So now we have 20,000 King Frogs floating around. And I was like, there's too many frogs. What should we do? So what we decided on was we're like, all right, well, there's a couple little crazy things. Let me get my little foil hat on and like try to figure out what I want to do. All right. So I'm going to grab a microwave. I'm gonna put it right here. I'm gonna open it up. I'm gonna throw three of those frogs in there, turn it on its side. I'm gonna duct tape it. I'm gonna, fuse it up, whatever. So like I was like thinking in my head, I was like, what would be interesting? What would be weird? What would it do? And when I got to the frogs, I was like, all right, well, you know what? How about I want to make my frog electric, or I want to make him on fire. I'm going to feed him some fireflies. He needs some energy, so I'm going to give him some juice, So we started building out some ingredients that you'll be able to pump up your frogs with. And I'm going to try to get them out of their jump boxes.
Dude, that's awesome. And, we were able to kind of see a sneak peek before we start shooting. And everyone watching, they were pretty awesome. So,
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that.
But there's more on that one, because so if you have the 3 frogs, so this is actually like what I'm like doing right now. I'm like focusing on this, because what you do is if you have your frogs, right, your 3 frogs, or how many other frogs you have, you'll be able to take those key frogs with those ingredients that animate them and bring them to life. You'll be able to smash them into a fat toad.
and I saw a picture of the fat toad, and I mean, they're
that's
thick.
your boy right there.
Are we gonna get it? We're gonna get it. There it is. There it is.
Picked up on a Thursday.
Oh man, look
thick
at that,
with 3
guys.
C's right there, man.
Whoa. He's a thick boy. So yeah, you can have some king frogs, and you can have a king toad.
Oh,
that's
man,
exciting.
Fat Toad. Everyone's excited in the chat. You guys just saw it. We're getting information out of Franky. Oh man. I saw that SupDucks launched an app, right? And that's something we don't see in NFTs too much. We've seen a couple where they launch, a mobile app. Why was having an app important for SupDucks, and what does that mean going forward for the NFT project?
Oh, I mean, well, my first big break into the tech industry was being an app developer. So building iPhone apps is very important to me. I think too, like the thing is everybody's got an iPhone. So like, even though I do have MetaMask on my phone and I try to do, all my fun crypto stuff, like most of it's on my computer. On my phone, I use various things, but I think like it just made sense. And then obviously, like from my history of making sticker apps or photobomb apps, like being able to make your duck, turn yourself into a duck, which is like super fun. The other thing too is like I opened up all the artwork for both of the projects. Actually, for all of the projects, they'll get opened up. So the app could just pull the art in, take a photo, slap on the eyeballs or a hat or whatever. The cool thing though, I thought, was like the way we gated the login, right? So like you have to connect a wallet to get access to the content, and it basically just verifies if you own a duck or not. That's it. So I don't know. I think there's some opportunity to do some pretty cool stuff. The other thing that was really, really awesome with that app was it became its own marketing engine in a way, like its own like marketing asset tool. So I think like as I see community members like making like memes and stuff, like I feel like let's just build all that in the app, and then it's just easy and everybody can do it, and you guys just go crazy on the internet, make it rain. Especially when these fat toes drop. Yep. There's going to be a lot of cake.
Awesome. Love it. We also have in September, we had Volt, right? So a token, future utility. That's something we're hearing more and more about with new NFT projects, right? Is, utility and tokens. SupDuck, again, was a little earlier on the side of the tokens. Can you talk about Volt and how that's going to play into the future here for SupDucks?
Yeah. Well, so like from my background, I worked at Zynga. I built playing a handful of games, and I'm very, very familiar with like premium and soft currency models for how you enjoy experiences. So I think like having our own token that can kind of be a utility power piece for all the weird, funky stuff we want to do is kind of like the whole objective here. And I think it was cool too is like it's voltage, it's the energy, it's the juice, it's what powers the SupDucks, it's what powers the megaverse that we're building. So like, you know, it's kind of like it's even though Ethereum is like the way Ethereum, because right now it's built on Ethereum, but like Ethereum is like the core gate. The Vault token is a way that we can get our community and consumers and players, friends, family to interact with our experiences and have a token that, you know, is used for that. So it's pretty cool. This is my first time launching a token. I've never launched a token before. I was around during the ICO days, and I know that was crazy cuckoo. So doing this and yeah, like not having to like run down the street with my like a briefcase full of documents or whatever I imagine someone would be doing, paper flying like that, like, you know. So I don't know, but it was really, really exciting, really, really cool. Yeah,
that's awesome. Another question we like to ask here, you know, on the roadmap is, you know, outside of SupDucks, what are some NFTs, you know, that you own or you like from other creators and artists?
Ooh, I mean, so I lurk a lot of projects. I check out projects. Mostly what I do is I usually when I see a project on like Rarity Tools or I see something on like Etherscan, or I'll even go the sideways and go look at the ReBee contracts. Like I usually look for teams, right? Like I usually look at like, okay, like suss out the team. Because I think there's so many amazing projects. There's so many great artists and talented developers out there. And in no means by me is this at all a competition. Like I want everybody to like win. I actually like want people to win before us, you know, because we're kind of playing like a long game. But I think like, yeah, I do take a lot. I look at a lot of projects. I look at a lot of the profiles behind the people behind the projects, the art, and I buy stuff up. And the thing too is like when I first got into doing NFT art, and even when I sold my pieces in 2020, I think it was 2020, Whale Shark came through and blessed my life with like 30 ETH. I try to do that back because I feel like, you know, like I get it. There's a lot of crypto going in and out, all these different places, but all these little teams and pods that pop up that are building stuff. I'm like, yo, I just made a bunch of dough. Here, you can have some, you know, like let's build some cool stuff. So I'm really keeping my eye on, I have my eye on a couple projects. There's actually a couple projects that I want to work with that I think is going to be fun in the future, but you know, mostly the 2D stuff. But that doesn't go to say about the artist market stuff, right? Like the super rares and known origins and the makers places and the foundations and the Zoras, you know. So yeah.
Awesome. What are, you know, just your overall thoughts on the NFT market? You know, there's a lot of talk of, you know, some criticism. Is this a bubble? How long is this going to last? We've got a lot of successful projects, you know, that have built these loyal communities like yours.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where do you see NFTs, you know, a year, 5 years from now, going forward?
Interesting. So it's actually funny. So a lot of the work that I was doing when I got into NFTs specifically at Dapper Labs was trying to figure out how to make it more easy, right? Trying to figure out how to make it more easy, more accessible to everyone, and like everybody can get one, and we want everyone to have one. And like we were like really focused on like what are we gonna do to streamline that process and that flow and that onboarding and whatever. And I mean that's most of the use cases for a lot of companies that you see that are in this specific space, whether they're it's a custodial seed phrase or whatever. I think that art, and this is more of like a philosophical point, but like art has kind of like opened the door to be like, here's blockchain, everybody run in, because there's like a new creative visual way for people to monetize just not only the art market, but the digital, just digital visual market in general. I mean, I think I don't think we've even really started to hit just like the first point of what this is going to be. Because I think that as we build these like digital universes and like, digital universe and like these different worlds and like social media and stuff, like I think those assets will slowly start to trickle in, depending on what happens with, is it legal or whatever it is. Like, can I pull my Twitter password out or keep it in a seed phrase type of thing, So, but I think we'll start to see a lot more of it popping up in like more and more consumer brands, heavy brands. Best example I could say is like, I was sitting here with my backup Kodo kid, and I got a text, my boy who was shooting Nelly for Burger King for the commercials for the NFT that dropped on that Palm app. Yeah, Palm app. Is it Palm? Palm.
I think
looking
it's
at
Palm.
you, J Maz. Is it Palm?
That sounds right.
Yeah. So, it was kind of cool because like we went over to Burger King and we scooped one up. Scooped up some burgers, man, and we got some NFTs, man.
Great combo there. Burgers and NFTs. You nailed it.
Love that. So you mentioned a SupDuck cartoon, something that you'd want to head towards that direction in the future. Would you plan on doing that on your own, or would you partner with an agency, or have you had any thoughts about execution with that?
You have no idea. Okay, so like, I've been in the tech industry, in the tech space for 20 years, or like, I don't know. How old am I? What day is it? But I've built a lot of apps. I've dropped a lot of NFTs. I helped Gary Vee. Like, I was lead creative on his project. I worked on, my hand touch Top Shot. Like I've dabbled all these things and done all these things. And even before the whole like crypto NFT wave and selling digital art, I was pushing apps on the App Store, top charts, #1 downloads, left and right. I built Family Guy's app. I built an app for Stevie Aoki. I built an app for Bad Decent. I built an app for Snoop Dogg.
Let's go.
I've done like so much of that, and now I'm like, what is something I have never done? Wait, what? A cartoon? That is the most exciting thing to me ever. Because I've built a lot of games, and I know how to build games. I know how to build good games, but making a cartoon, like something that like I could send to my nephew or my cousin or something, and like go on like Netflix or Hulu, and they can watch a cartoon of the crazy shit that's in my head. Amazing. So that to me is like, yes, I'm trying to move on that. And we're actually making progress on it too, which is cool because, being in LA, we're locking our office down, I think on Monday. So we now have a spot to just jam, and yeah, we're going to be making I'm going to bring this whole thing to life.
Love that, man. So we will definitely follow up with that in the next couple months coming up.
Yeah.
You mentioned games. Any video game thoughts for SupDucks or anything like that?
100. Yep.
Yeah.
So we're going to build I would call them almost like a mid MMO / Invest Express / like casual / browser game. This is what I would say is going to become like the whole thing that we ended up actually building. One of the big things that I'm really interested in is the tooling, the SDK system for how the art can work in a game, right? I've said this before on my own personal streams. I'm not really a huge fan of 3D stuff. Like I think like voxels are cool. Like Minecraft's is tight. It's like I'll jump in it. Fortnite's dope. Don't get me wrong. GTA is sick. Red Dead is dope, you know? But like I like that 2D kind of flat look, and I like that like, you know, double drag or you know, the street brawler style and SNES games, like the Simpsons like beat 'em up game was the one we were referencing. Streets of Rage, Double Dragon, you know, like I like that kind of vibe. So I want to figure out how to build the tooling to make all of our characters and all the crazy stuff go into a world like that is just simple 2D stuff, like how they used to build arcade games back in the day. But the thing that I want to do, though, which is really cool, is I want to open it up so that those tools and that software is available to other projects. So it's not just SupDucks. So like if you have a project and you're not a 3D person, then you can just come in and jump in and start bamming and breaking it and making it rain type of thing, you know? So like, yeah, I like that's where but in terms of like game mechanics or like the game loop, we're going to build it so that there's a lot of game mechanics and game loops, and users can build their own. So they'll make the world their own type of thing.
Love that, man. Dude, so many exciting things coming. I'm excited for the SupDucks community. So we've seen people like Andy Milonakis, Keemstar, you know, talking about SupDucks. How do you feel about, you know, influencers and celebs, you know, making that their profile picture or, you know, buying and loving the brand?
I think it's tight. I mean, I think so. I think it's super cool. I love it. I mean, I think it's, again, like all these like little wacky characters are just like, they're so weird. And so people make them their profile picture. I'm like, you're weird. You know, it's tight. I mean, that's the whole thing about like the profile picture, like avatar, like little blossom that we're in right now. And I think I did a presentation last week on like a PM Skill Lounge thing. And what I was talking about was that like the ability to make it your doorknob, you know, like your profile picture is your like, boom, it's your like, it's the first thing you see anytime you interact with anyone on the internet. You can just flex that you're part of a community, or you can flex your personality, or you can flex your like part of a specific like clan of these different types of projects, right? So I think it's very interesting right now that, you know, people are able to do that. And I think that has helped fueled kind of what we have going on now, where people are like, all right, this is me and this is who I'm associated with and this is what we're doing and we're having fun, you know? So
exactly. Perfect. And I think, Chris, do we have any questions from the chat here?
We do. I mean, this chat loves Franky. I think Franky knows that.
Where's the chat?
This loyal community. Are you not able? If you click on comments to the right here.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
They're loving you.
Sup.
Yeah, you got
a sup train.
You got lots of subs here. So we got some questions from the chat here, Franky. We have a comment from Tokes and Trades. Great username there. Franky, can we collab on some pumpkin ducks for charity? You know, we're seeing a trend of Halloween NFTs. Any thoughts on pumpkin ducks for charity here?
Pumpkin ducks? Well, all the ducks already been minted. I mean, we could definitely put some pumpkins in the boardwalk. So yeah, just hit the boys on the Discord. We got all those channels.
Awesome. And then we have a comment from Incredible Science. So we talked about Volt And the question is, what other utility will Volt have aside from making toads? Will this be used, will anything with the cartoon or the games in the future, more utility coming?
I think for the most part, it's going to be like, it's going to be a lot of game pieces, right? Because there's not only it being used as a way to transform or manipulate things or obtain things, but also I think there might be, because I named it Volt, it is voltage. I think I want to make volt generators. Like I want to like, I'm trying to imagine in my head what it would look like if like I had a little tiny Energizer bunny just like running and making volt, like, so like that's like the little character in the game. And so like, what do you do with all that energy? It's how you turn on the lights. It's how you flip over your frog. It's how you paint your motorcycle red, So I think that's going to kind of be the move on it.
Awesome. And then last question here from the chat, Hubber Snacks. Again, there's always that person who wants to know, what's next. So the comment is ducks and frogs, soon toads, and then ... Will we get another animal in the ecosystem here, or probably nothing you can share with us yet, Franky?
I got some good ones. It's funny. I was like, yo, are we sticking with what swamp are we talking about here? Because like we know we got ducks, now we got frogs, and we got toads. Is this like that like southern like type of swamp, or are we talking like pond waters of California? Like what kind of critters live in there? So I think we might do some fun stuff with some turtles. I think turtles are cool. I like snakes. I think snakes could be fun. I actually have a really good idea for a snake project that would just be really weird. And then I think I might drop some rats. I don't know. I feel like rats could do something. But I have a whole bunch of them in my head. And King Frog, he has an arch nemesis, is King Bird. One rules the ground, one rules the air. So, they're in constant trying to fight each other and stuff. So I'm going to have to bring in King Bird soon.
Man, it sounds like you got a lot planned out. So, Franky, this has been great. We're loving this conversation. We look forward to following the progress and hearing more about SupDuck in the future. So thanks for taking time to join us on the roadmap today.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it, Franky.
Check out that fat toad.
Oh, that fat toad. One more time.
Oh, boy, he thick.
First time ever right here on the roadmap.
Thick with 3 C's right there, man.
3 C's.
He got a crown on his head.
All right. Thank you, Franky. Have a good one, man.
Adios.
See you, bro.
Man.
Peace.
All right, guys. Great interview. You guys got some exclusives here. We got to see that fat toad. We got to hear about, merch collaboration, maybe, Maz. What do you think?
Yeah, that's huge. First of all, to the SupDuck community watching, thank you guys so much. Make sure to leave a thumbs up if you like this type of content, so that way Benzinga can produce more of it. Dude, it was great. Franky's such a chill guy. Very cool vibes, and yeah, a lot of exciting things coming up for the SupDuck fam. I'm excited, man.
Yeah, and Maz, we got a call out. We got a tip here from Bread and this awesome comment. The real floor are the friendships made along the way. I think that's true with NFTs, right? Is you're not always going to see these huge floor jumps, these huge gains. Sometimes it's great to just be part of a loyal community and build friendships along the way. I mean, whether through Discord, or through messaging. However, I mean, I think that's, one of the great positives of NFTs that, for people who criticize NFTs, just so often forget that it's about community and not just all about the money side of things. So great comment, Brad. Thank you for the tip. And yeah, Maz, I mean, the ducks showed up in full force for today's interview. And as Maz said, if you want more NFT content, go ahead and subscribe to Benzinga's YouTube channel, smash that like, and let's drop the ones in the chat right now. 1, if you want more NFT content on Benzinga. we've got great guests lined up too, Maz. So I hope that everyone comes back. We air Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Our October calendar is stacked with some great guests. Maz, let's turn to headlines now. You know, that's one of the things we like to start the show with, but today we wanted to get right to the interview since Franky was here ready to go. So one of the things we like to do on Tuesdays, right, is since it's our first show after the weekend, is talk about the top 10 NFTs from the week before. So last week was led once again by Axie Infinity. No surprise, right? $140.0 million in sales volume. It was actually up 22%, which we haven't seen that big of an increase for Axie in a little bit. Number 2 was Mechaverse, which Maz is going to talk about in a minute, so I won't spoil anything there. And then we had Cryptodes. I mean, that's been an incredibly hot project. 25 million almost in sales last week, down 53%, but still number 3. And then, of course, we had CryptoPunks, Art Blocks, and then Mutant Cats joining the list. 22 million, up 247%. That was a big gainer on the week. And then Bored Ape Yacht Club, Cyber Kongs, 2, you know, big projects. And then the Humanoids, and then the official Surreals at number 10, $11 million. That's the first time they've been on the list. This one recently launched. What do you think of that top 10 list, Maz? You know, outside of Mecha, which I know you're going to talk about, anything surprise you there or jump out on the top 10?
We see a lot of the usuals here, but yeah, we do see, you know, Mutant Cats, Humanoids, you know, the official Surreals. Those are new ones that I haven't seen before. Which is interesting to see them here. You know, I have heard of Mutant Cats a lot the last couple of weeks, last couple of days, I should say. But yeah, no surprise for the most part.
Awesome. Well, Maz, I previewed it. You know, Mechaverse number 2 on the list last week.
Yes.
Not a huge surprise to anyone who watches our show. We all knew this was going to be a big lottery, but Maz, tell us how the lottery went and what's to come for Mechaverse here.
Well, Mechaverse, man, Mechaverse has been an interesting case study, right? So we've seen liquidity almost dry up completely from the whole market. It seems like people are waiting for the release today, which is going to be in the next couple of hours or so. But first of all, I didn't win the lottery. I know, did you win, Chris?
I did not.
No, so a lot of people, most people that I know, they didn't, you know, weren't able to mint these pieces. The floor price went as high as what, almost 10 ETH, I think.
I think it was 10 on that first day.
Yeah.
We saw essentially 10, and then it fell all the way down to, I think, 5, maybe a little below 5, and then it went back up. And I mean, you see it there, 6.69.
Yeah,
you know, that's a decent price for a pre-revealed NFT here.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see today when they reveal what happens to the floor price and what happens to the market overall. You know, most people are projecting that it's going to, you know, drop a bit, which is standard. You know, it's not a bad guess. I'm just curious to see what happens in the, you know, long-term vision of this project, because, I mean, there's never been this much hype before, right? We've seen the whole market has, you know, been affected by this. So I'm curious to see what happens after reveal today. Reveal is expected anytime from 8 p.m. CET to 12 a.m. CET, which I think is 2 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, these time zones on these NFTs are always so confusing. I live and breathe Eastern Standard Time. I know you're Pacific Time, Maz, but you know, you also know Eastern Time from this show and from the stock market. So yeah, so you know, Maz, you mentioned a good point there. I think it goes without saying that we'll probably see a dip in the floor price after these are revealed. But on the flip side of that, so if they already were selling for 10 ETH pre-revealed, you know, during that lottery, do you have any predictions on, you know, what maybe some top sales are over the next 24 hours? You know, do you think we see 20, 25 ETH here, or you think the 10 to 15 range is going to be our one of ones or top mechas that sell?
Yeah, I think the top, you know, maybe top 50, top 100 mechas will go somewhere around, yeah, I want to say higher, closer to 20 ETH range, in my opinion. I do think the rares will be sniped while the floor does dip a bit. Again, that's normal. Let's see what happens after. That's what I'm curious to see. You know, does it recover? Do we get some, you know, momentum moving forward? And what's next for the Mechaverse universe, right? What do we expect now that the hype may come down a little bit? So it'll be interesting to see that.
Yeah, and we're going to be covering that the next couple weeks because I'm excited to see, what does the floor do on this a week from now, right? Is it still over 5? Is it down, to 3 to 2? And also, are people going to hold these, or is this, everyone just waiting to flip? And Maz, you mentioned it at the start of the show, right? That this kind of dried up some liquidity. So with that being said, after the Mecca reveal today, after some of those top sales get out of the way, are we going to see a huge rush back into NFTs over the next couple days, with people being more liquid and having, that ETH that they had tied up or were ready for Mecca? So some great points there. We'll be following that. Maz, I don't know if you saw this, but another huge deal in NFT land, Bored Ape Yacht Club signed a representation deal with Guy Osiri. He represents Madonna and U2, a big name in the space. So Yuga Labs, which launched Bored Ape Yacht Club, he said that many people still have not heard of Yuga, yet they are one of the highest grossing talents of the year from any art form, including music and film. And he flat out says that Bored Ape Yacht Club sees opportunities across media platforms, including film, TV, music, gaming, and more. They are originals, empowering their community of NFT holders by giving them IP rights to their purchased ape. I don't think this comes as any surprise, right? We talked about UTA signing a deal with CryptoPunk's parent company, right? Larva Labs. And we also talked about this, Maz, when there was that huge auction for the Bored Apes, right? And we said, is a media company going to come in, acquire the apes? We still don't know who bought the apes, but that purchase is looking real good now if they own 101 apes that are going to be, they're going to be able to license them for film, TV, and games. This is a big deal, Maz, right?
Huge. And yeah, you were actually, the first one that kind of told me about that, them maybe taking that route. So this is huge news to see this happening. And yeah, I think we may see that happening faster than we anticipated.
Definitely.
So we have a Dark Horizon reveal tomorrow, I believe. Dark Horizon is a project that has 8,686 unique hand-drawn fighters. Let's see, the floor price is currently 0.12. And yeah, so the reveal is tomorrow. Did you mint these, Chris? I did not.
I did not. I missed out on them. They were on my watch list. But I, just not being around the computer when these went live. I'm curious to see what happens here, right? Because if you look at the artwork, Maz, I think it follows recent projects we've seen, right? So you have the moon behind there, reminds me a lot of Omni, of course, right? And some of this artwork looks, sort of familiar, but this is another project, front-facing PFP, right? So we talk all the time about PFPs, and so many of them, the ones that are heavy art-focused, are side profiles, right? And here you have, the front-facing PFP. So I'm curious to see what happens to these after reveal. Again, this is a smaller one, right? 0.12 floor right now. But it's always interesting to see what happens, with some of these art-based PFP projects.
Yeah, that's a great point. Looking at Oni, Omnimorphs, I think the 777, Outcast, there's a very similar aesthetic to these type of projects. I wonder if we see a rotation to this style of project soon instead of just like the cute profile pictures. Maybe we see a rotation to this style because I'm noticing a lot more of these projects, but Oni seems to be that first project that led that, style. Same with Omnimorphs. They were kind of the first two OGs to do this style, and they both look cool, but they're not the cute profile picture, that everybody likes. So it's interesting to see if we see a rotation to that.
Yeah, interesting indeed. Another one, this one I actually did mint. So we talked about this one last week on Thursday's show, I believe, 2545. So I minted 3 of these. They have not revealed yet, Maz. Another delay. I'm not a huge fan of delays, right? But in this case, I'm still holding. I like the artwork. We're going to see what I get. They've got some great one-of-one pieces. But they said that they had to add another trait to, the NFTs. So we'll keep an eye out, 2545 here. And this is one, Maz, we talked about on Thursday. And, it actually started out its minting pretty slow. But then it got some big names minting, and all of a sudden it sold out. So it was one that gained some steam at the end. But the question now is, has the steam kind of gone away with this delayed reveal? What do you think?
Yeah, I did keep track of this mint. It did start slow. I think then Steve Aoki and a couple other people minted these projects, so it got some hype. Um, I like the work. It's been compared to some other work that's on Twitter as well. These are the first type that become NFTs, but there's an artist that's similar style work. So I'm curious to see what happens, when they reveal, because we haven't really seen all the art, by itself. So when they reveal, we'll see how it works.
Definitely.
So there was a rumor this week, OpenSea Visa rumor, right? So the rumor has it that Visa is working to become the payments processor for OpenSea. So this is huge if true, but it's completely, it's just rumors at this point. Thoughts on this, Chris?
I mean, I think this could be dangerous, for someone who enjoys the NFT space. I can flat out say, that there's been times, right, where my low liquidity has kept me from minting some of these, random drops, these stealth mints, these spin-off projects where they can, essentially go, much higher or become, essentially worthless pretty fast, right? And if you have the ability to buy NFTs with, a credit card, I just don't know about that. I mean, I worry a little bit about that. With that being said, though, Maz, I think you'd see some new people enter the space because there's a lot of people who still, don't understand NFTs, or they don't like the fact that it takes, days to set up your wallet and get the ETH and transfer it over, to your MetaMask. So I don't know. What's your thoughts here? I just feel like it might be a little dangerous.
I think it's great for mainstream to get into the NFT world. Obviously it is a little dangerous. Once you get hooked in it, you realize how easy it is to make transactions. But currently, at least for me, that I've noticed is banks aren't really big fans of crypto. So whenever you try to use credit cards or debit cards, they get blocked, I would say, more than half the time. And you have to call. They make you go through this crazy process to approve these transactions because they're crypto based. So it's going to be interesting to see that come into play. But I think this is a big step for mainstream and NFTs to come together. Speaking of that, though, I know we have some big news that just happened today, right?
Yeah, I mean, with that being said, talking about OpenSea's been a leader in the NFT platform industry. But Maz, it looks like they may have a competitor, and not just a startup competitor, right? We're talking about established cryptocurrency exchange platform Coinbase. So Coinbase is launching Coinbase NFT. They put out a press release today. They have a wait list. You can already join. Currently, the wait list is broken, which I'm guessing is because so many people were trying to sign up for it. That's a great problem to have, right, if you're Coinbase. So they said that this will allow users to mint, collect, and trade NFTs. And their quote was, just as Coinbase helped millions of people access Bitcoin for the first time in an easy and trusted way, we want to do the same for NFTs. So the Coinbase NFT platform will initially support Ethereum-based ERC 721 and ERC 1155 standards, and they plan to add additional NFTs later. And this is why this is so important. Coinbase ended the second quarter with 68 million verified users, 8.8 million monthly transacting users, and over 9,000 institutional customers. They also support 83 different crypto assets for trading. So NFT market was $10 billion in sales volume in the third quarter, according to research. And again, OpenSea, has a lead, but Maz, that lead, it may disappear real fast. Coinbase, 68 million users. I've used Coinbase before, right? It's got a nice ease of use, which a lot of people want, right? And that's something with NFTs. OpenSea has lagged, right? We've seen the platform crash during big launches. We've seen insider trading accusations. We've also heard that OpenSea, is a small team, a relatively, small employee team, which given the rapid, ascent of NFTs kind of doesn't make a ton of sense. So What do you think? Does Coinbase just, I mean, take the lead here and just take it away from OpenSea, or is this, you know, too early to tell?
Yeah, so OpenSea currently has about 60,000 daily active users. So seeing Coinbase, who already has such a big base of users, man, I mean, if I was OpenSea, I would be a little bit not concerned, but there's definitely going to be competition, right? So we'll see how the rollout goes. I'm excited, to be honest with you. I'm excited again. How can we connect mainstream to NFTs? That's the big question here. This is a great step forward. I'm excited.
Yeah, and I think one of the other things, Maz, that I like about this, right? So the majority, I can honestly say I've never bought a Solana NFT, right? But they are popping up in rapid numbers.
Yeah.
I focus on the Ethereum ones. I've also used, you know, Flow for Top Shot. But the fact that Coinbase would launch this platform, they already have all these assets that trade. So I think that would make it a lot easier, you know, to just use your Coinbase account, use your Ethereum, use your Solana that's in there, you know, mint or buy these different NFTs. I think this could be, you know, a positive for Solana based ETF or NFTs, right?
Yeah, you know, and they did mention that they do want to add a social aspect to the NFT platform. So we kind of see, you know, the Discord communities, and then they go buy an OpenSea. If there's a way to merge these two things together through a Coinbase platform, through a decentralized social media, I mean, this is huge.
Yeah, and I mean, if I'm an investor in OpenSea, which that's the other thing I did read, is that Anderson Horowitz is one of the leading investors in OpenSea. They were also an investor in Coinbase. So now you have, you know, a possible competition, and anyone who invested in, you know, OpenSea or some of these platforms, you know, is now the time where you step in and you say, hey guys, we gotta do something. We gotta change it up. Like, we have a major competitor coming to the market. And again, this isn't just a rumor. Like, Coinbase put out a press release. They have an active wait list. Again, I can't get that wait list to work. If I could, I would drop it in the chat, but I don't want to give you guys a non-working link. But yeah, so this isn't just a rumor. This is coming. The question is when. And yeah, I mean, I think this is big for Coinbase and just huge for NFTs overall.
Absolutely. You know, we're still so early. Everybody says that, you know, but I really believe that, you know, we're going to see some price fluctuations. Sure, NFTs will go up, sure, NFTs will go down. But seeing things like Coinbase starting to adapt NFTs, seeing things like, you know, OpenSea, Visa, man, it gets me excited for the next, you know, year or two here on NFTs. And, you know, that's the reason that we started the show, was because we saw something that could potentially go, you know, mainstream. So we wanted to cover this. So I'm excited for this, Chris.
Definitely. So, Maz, here's a question for you. I didn't think very much about this one yet, but Coinbase and some of these crypto platforms have been known, right, to offer incentives to sign up for their platform, right? Whether it's, you know, free Dogecoin, free Ethereum, you know, free cash, whatever it is. If Coinbase, do you think Coinbase just tries to go after OpenSea on their own, or do you think we're going to see, you know, an incentive, right? Are they going to offer people maybe a free NFT series for signing up for Coinbase NFT? Are they going to try to partner with some big artists to launch exclusively on Coinbase? You know, are we going to see that for the early competition? Is Coinbase going to, you know, aggressively market, or do you think they just kind of slow roll this out?
No, I think they're going aggressive, man. They know what's coming. They know it's kind of like a first mover. You know, OpenSea has that first mover advantage. Coinbase wants to shut that down as soon as possible, in my opinion. So it's going to be exciting for the consumers. I'll tell you that, though.
Yeah, and I mean, again, Benzinga, financial site. We talk about stocks on all our other shows. You know, just to go outside the NFT realm for a minute, Coinbase is publicly traded, and Coinbase had an IPO earlier this year. And they've been criticized, right, that they get so much of their revenue just from, you know, exchange fees, right?
Yeah.
Now they're going to have this NFT platform too, and I think they're going to diversify their revenue so much more. I mean, again, not financial advice, but Coinbase is definitely on my stock watch list now because, I mean, let's face it, Maz, if you were able to buy OpenSea stock over the last year, I think you would have, right? Because you see how big of a deal they are in the NFT space. And as you said, that first mover advantage. Well, now you have Coinbase. I mean, I think that's a huge positive and a huge win for Coinbase and their stock as well.
Absolutely, man. Oh man, when is Robinhood going to launch NFTs?
You know, that's a great point. That's a great point, that this could be the trickle down effect, right? Because we saw this with all these stock trading platforms, right? Where they all started then going what? Into crypto. Well, now we're seeing crypto platforms go into NFTs. Maz, you might have called that one, right? If Robinhood rolls out NFTs in the next year, guys, you heard it here from Maz. I don't know. I just feel like, as you said, you know, we're so early. Again, not all these NFTs are going to, you know, succeed over the next 5 years, right? They may fall in price. They may lose utility, may lose focus, right? We've already seen that with some of these older projects. We talked about last week, right? The other trend coming, like CryptoZilla, CryptoTrex, right? Where the teams are being, you know, brought back together, or a new person takes over and they're trying to revive these old projects. Because what happens is otherwise these projects just kind of sit idle, right? So we talked to Franky from SupDucks, right? And the big thing there is they launched, you know, SupDucks. Then they had a mobile app. Then they had a token and utility. Then they had the frog. They got toads coming next. They got a game coming next. They got merch. They got all this stuff, right? So the big thing in that cycle is, as long as these projects keep engaging their community, keep doing stuff, it seems to like it'll last forever. But the big thing is, you know, what happens if some of that stuff goes away? Do people jump to the next project?
Yeah, and a big question too is also for new people that join the NFT space. You know, what NFT do they buy first, right? Do they just mint some random thing and hope they get lucky, or do they, you know, try to join a blue chip or an emerging blue chip? You know, like SupDucks, you know, Oni, all these projects. So, yeah, well, it's interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a huge day for news, right? I was so excited about this interview, SupDucks, and then I was like, wait a sec, what did Bored Ape Yacht Club do? Wait a sec, Coinbase NFTs? I was like, oh man, there's so much to talk about, but we did it. We made it because we are gonna make it. It's 3:04. We got through the interview. We got through all those headlines. We do not have a show this Thursday. I know many of you out there are going to be sad. We actually have our global cannabis conference for Benzinga. Benzinga has been a leader in cannabis news and coverage for years. We are doing a hybrid event. It is live in New York City and also will air here live on the Benzinga stream. But Maz, we'll be back next week, and I don't think we can give away yet who's going to be on. But we have interviews next week, Tuesday and Thursday, and one of them was on our top 10 list for sales volume last week. And the other one it is rightfully just as big, right? And has some big things coming. And I'm pretty sure everyone's going to know that name too. So what do you think, Maz, without giving it away? How excited are you for next week's 2 interviews? Or maybe a teaser you can give without spoiling it. I'm trying to think of a clever way here.
I'm trying to think of a clever way. All I can say is next week's episodes, both of them are going to be back-to-back, you know, bangers. I'm excited. I've been excited. They're OGs in the game, you know, high-end projects, you know, high-end team, and it's going to be great to talk to them and just kind of dissect their mind of the space right now and where they're going. But yeah, it's going to be exciting, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, well, we may have to put out some teaser trailers later this week or over the weekend. So stay tuned for that. So with that being said, if you're not following me or Maz on Twitter, our handles are on screen right now below our names. And also, if we can get up the roadmap, Twitter, we have our own Twitter account as well. We will also share that information. And if you're not following Benzinga on Twitter, that is another good spot. So yeah, I mean, Maz, so much to talk about. We did it though. And yeah, another huge week next week.
Absolutely. Yeah, this was such a great episode. I'm going to probably rewatch it again in a little bit just because there was so much information from the SupDuck, you know, from Franky and the SupDuck fam. So thank you everyone for watching. You know, always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and we got Mexican Crypto saying just do a cannabis NFT show. Maz, that's a great idea. I know there's at least 1 or 2 cannabis NFTs out there. One I think was going to launch like a plant that you got for minting, and maybe a token or a toke and I guess in that case, but that's my little pun for the day, I guess. But yeah, so another great idea there. Maybe we can look at some cannabis NFTs. If you missed Thursday's show, we also did Halloween NFTs. Some great ones to watch during the month of October. But Maz, without further ado, I think we are going to end the show. But another killer episode. I'm going to rewatch it just like you said. Franky shared some new information on SupDucks. I mean, it's not every day that we get, exclusives here. But when we do, it's great for our fans and community out there. We got Mitch saying, hell yeah, great show. Yeah, shout out to everyone in the chat. And we will see you next week.
See you next week.